Yo, guys, welcome to the Zulus. Final part, I should hope. We are ready for this war with Russia. Pretty much, just need to wait one turn to let these guys get their movement points back. But yeah, loads of tanks, loads of infantry, upgraded from, imps and stuff with all the Buffalo promotions. Loads of artillery as well. We've even got 2 jet fighters and some ironclads ready to go as well. Other stuff we have, we got the lightning warfare, so 3 movement for great generals, 15% attack for gun units and ignore zone of control, and 15% attack and 1 movement for armor units. So our tanks are actually up to 6 or 7 movements. Some of them have a blitz and mobility as well. Also, global war games happened. That's another 25% attack bonus for a certain amount of turns for the silver award from that. And yeah, that's about it, I think. But we do have an absolutely crazy amount of units. I mean, over 200 units, and most of them are probably around here. So, I reckon my plan is we try and smash them completely in one turn. Every single city. We've also Laban's round the crap out of them. So many great generals here that we just use to eat all of their territory. I mean, how sad is a city here? Literally just one square surrounded by our troops. So we haven't even declared war yet, but yes, our troops are already surrounding all of their cities, which is pretty ridiculous. I wonder just how scared Russia is. I think they should be. Alright, let's do this.
A nation that destroys its soil.
Okay, let's do this. We do outtech them quite significantly as well. We got infantry and tanks and artillery and stuff. They're still using their Lycorns, which are like unique field guns and lancers and fusiliers. So should be rather easy. Right, one thing they do have going for them is their Ostrogs, which is going to mean that it costs enemy land units must expend an extra 1 movement per tile if they move onto a tile worked by this city. So what I actually don't know is, does this count if I'm attacking the actual city square? I don't know. Let's find out, say with you. Oh, great general here. There's one there. Cool. So he's on 4 movement. It does only take 1. Cool. Alright, very nice. Get paid for doing those attacks. I like it. Yeah, so this guy, he does 229.2 damage. This tank actually does 232. So the tank still does more. The tank with drill 3 does more damage than the all 3 Buffalo promotions, drill 3, city assault, Zulu infantry. And has 2 extra movement. And that's without having mobility that the Zulu infantry promotion has. Jesus, tanks are so much better than infantry, man. I guess these infantry have the don't get zone of controlled, which is like the only thing going for them. Could be quite useful for taking a dune. Okay, I think I should start up here though, to be honest. And yeah, let's do this. Alright, well, yes, that is what I call a domination victory. Every single city on the main continent of the Pangaea map is ours, or one of the city-states that we're allied to, so that's rather nice. I don't want to zoom out because I've had many crashes, but yeah, this is the full empire. Got Netherlands over here, Netherlands' old cities, Mayan cities over here. Our own settled city is in the middle, Assyria's still left down here, and Ottomans do have a couple of island cities left over here as well. This was Assyria's old cities, this was Ottoman's old cities, this was Austria's old cities, Germany was in here, and then finally Russia in here. I actually got wiped right to the end and nearly wiped out like all of their units and then it crashed, but I can't be able to do that again. Let us finish it here.
The world has been convulsed by war. Many great and powerful civilizations have fallen, but you have survived and emerged victorious. The world will long remember your glorious triumph.
Very nice. Oh wow, they weren't even much better approval than us. Man, I feel like on the new patch, our happiness would have been ridiculously bad. We would have had to raise like every single city or puppet them all. But yeah, let's have a little go through the game. Alright, we'll start off with this. Standard. So, we're here, Germany here, Mayans here, Netherlands, Austria, Assyria, Ottomans, and Russia. Everybody kind of, 2 by 2 along the map. That's kind of normally how Pangaea works, which is a little bit annoying, but I guess it's just the shape of the map. Maybe I need to make it more square or something, so that everybody's in kind of a circle or something like that. Alright, yeah, I think there were some natural wonders over here we went for. 5 cities is reasonable. I think I settled one in here as well. Some wars with Germany. Assyria came and settled close to us. Great generaling into Germany there. Mayans were very annoying over here. I don't think there was much else really going on in the world. Actually, I think Ottomans got eaten a little bit. This is when we start eating Germany. I think I went Austria next. Mayans, Assyria. Wow, Ottomans and Netherlands went fast. Then we were just cleaning up a bit. Wow, look at that. That is a beautiful ending right there. There we go. Alright, graphs. Yeah, culture per turn. Man, Netherlands had some scary tourism. He was nearly influential with everyone, like in Renaissance or something, or maybe it was even medieval. But it never quite happened. I mean, we did conquer him fairly early actually, before it's really realistic to get a tourism victory done. But he definitely had slowed down at that point. Anyway, fair enough. Well, we were a bit behind on tech, I have to say. Like, an actually worrying amount. This is one of the most worried I've ever been during a game, but I don't think I knew quite how good the MP were going to be. But I wasn't even sure that we would get to use them before people had rifling and fusiliers and stuff. But we did. Only barely overtook them at the end. But we had the military techs, whereas they just had, random techs. Policies. We weren't as far behind on policies. We had the Izakos that were giving culture, but overtook them right at the end. Obviously, we did have Glory of God, so we could buy Great Riders during the World's Fair, which is always a big one. The tourism per turn, I mean, it was fairly high. I don't even really know how. But apparently it just was. I know they get, like, it seemed like a lot of it was from the instant yield, but I mean 200 at that time in the game per turn is quite a lot. And yeah, I don't know why, because I don't think they had the tourism religion. Yeah, we had crazy heals at the end, of course, as you always do. All the wonders, obviously. Right. I actually learned quite a bit from this game, so I feel like it is worth talking through it. So early game didn't go amazingly. To be honest, I think that I just kind of cocked it up a bit, to be honest. We started here. I can't actually remember if I moved, but we had the wine, 2 wine near us. Wine does give the faith monopoly, so I was kind of thinking, yeah, the faith monopoly could help us get a religion with the God of Protection Pantheon that we went for here, 2 faith and 1 culture from palace walls and barracks. But I also wanted to go straight for bronze working because that's where the Akandas are. And they have I think they have 1 additional faith as well. So, and then you get the extra 2 from the Pantheon. It does work quite well with Zulus. I think I built Statue of Zeus because I thought we would get the 3 barracks anyway. We might as well. I don't know if it did slow us down too much. Maybe it did. Could have just built the Akanda instead. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But we did have a couple of spearmen. Unfortunately, I just didn't really find anything to do with them. Like, there wasn't that many barb camps near us, and there weren't many city-states to tribute either. There was Milan here, and Jerusalem over here. But none of them were giving, like, science or anything. I don't know, maybe I should have made more effort to tribute. I feel like it would have been difficult with the amount of units that I had. And also Milan had some really good quests. They had a quest to make a great general that was like 150 culture for doing that quest, which is more than you'd get from tributing them. So I thought I might as well not tribute them so I could get that quest, because otherwise we would have lost it. But yeah, I think the mistake I made was I went and did weird exploring with my scout, where I went over to try and find ruins over here instead of properly scouting the area around me. That meant I didn't actually know that I had this Mount Kalish, over here, and the Uluru, down here, which gives 4 faith. Mount Kalish is 8 faith, I think. So these were easily enough to help with the religion. So I ended up still going for calendar after I went for bronze working, which was pointless because I didn't need the faith monopoly to actually get the religion, and I don't think I even ended up having it online that much before I had the religion, because I ended up just going and settling next to these guys instead of settling necessarily next to the wine. So yeah, that meant I kind of had no chance of getting Terracotta Army because I was already at Calendar, which is unfortunate. Terracotta Army is really nice. I went for writing instead. There was a couple of those quests to find other civilizations where you get the science. But I didn't really build the libraries anyway, I don't think, so it was kind of pointless to go for the libraries. Although I guess I don't know what else I really needed to go for if I wasn't going for Terracotta Army, because we were too late for that, or to get that safely. Yeah, so probably if I'd scouted properly, I could have just gone bronze working and then gone straight for masonry and built Terracotta Army. And probably I should have done some tributing. But yeah, I felt like we didn't get great luck in terms of barb camps being near us, or any good ruins particularly that helped us get going. But yeah, settled like 5 cities, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the Goma in here a little bit later just to fill it out. Had a war with Germany quite early on because wanted to get that great general for the Milan quest. Wanted to, you do want to war people. Since we have their combat bonuses from the Buffalo promotions. And yeah, I wanted to try and weaken them so that they would be a good target later on. Unfortunately, they were very good mates with the Mayans, who I think they bribed the Mayans in to attack us, which was very annoying because I was not quite at steel yet, which was what I was really aiming for, which meant I wasn't able to buy Landschnitz or anything, and I had to waste some money on combos or something, I think, and that didn't obviously have full experience. And just generally it did get a bit dicey down here in Bulawayo. Perhaps I could have settled it one tile back, though that would have blocked this square, but it would have made it a lot more difficult for them to get over these rivers, because as it was, they kind of stood in here and I couldn't really get rid of them, because I couldn't go in there myself with the melee units without getting trapped over the river. But yeah, we did defend, but that was definitely annoying, just the timing of it. If it had been a couple of turns later, it wouldn't have been so bad. But it was, and then I had to declare war on Germany because they were threatening to great general us over here, and I did some great generaling of my own up here that got us very close to Berlin, actually. So we were at war with Germany from quite soon after steel, I think, while I was just trying to get to gunpowder, really, for the impies. Yes, we did get a religion. I think it was on turn 84. It might have been first or second or something, but the other ones were really close afterwards. So not particularly early, given that I had flipping Mount Kalish and Uluru down here, and Wine Monopoly. But yeah, I only just got that online before that turn anyway. But so I guess God of Protection doesn't quite give enough for religion on its own, or not even close really, because we needed all that and it was still pretty tight. I don't know how good the Pantheon was. To be honest, the healing was really nice. In the early war we had with Germany and the war with the Mayans, it actually helped quite a bit. We were able to have units healing for 30 in our cities and 25 in friendly territory, which is obviously quite significant. So I went for hero worship. Yeah, this one is obviously good for authority conquering stuff. The one thing I would say about it is that it's kind of a bit all or nothing, because obviously you don't get a bonus unless you conquer cities, and then once you do start conquering cities, you just have infinite faith, it feels like, to the point where the only way you could ever spend it is with the Zealotry Enhancer belief, or absolutely spamming missionaries to convert it into tourism. But that's with a different founder belief anyway, so you can't do that. Yeah, but the general points are nice. We had so many great generals so late on in the game, and obviously playing as the Zulus, we had the Indunas, unique great generals that give extra experience to units stacked with them, and then even more, another plus 30. Oh, it does damage to adjacent units. I don't think I ever used that, but I did use it to give bonus experience to my units. I don't know how much difference these guys made. They are a little bit annoying to use because you have to try and get them stacked with your units during combat. But yeah, it's nice to have more of them so that you can have them stacked with more units. And then obviously we use them for the great generaling spree at the end. And I don't know what other founder belief would have been good, to be honest, this game. Because we weren't able to spread our religion at all. There was just so much pressure from other religions and missionaries and stuff. Went for orders, obviously, wanted bonus experience. We have the units gain levels quicker, so experience is kind of worth more in some ways. Then for enhancer, I went for pagodas. I definitely love pagodas on Pangea map when you've got all the religious pressures, because you kind of get the pressure from all the other religions because they're all connected. So you can get 4 or 5 of all the yields. I did end up having to do quite a bit of inquisitoring and stuff, so we probably lost some of them, but it was definitely good in the mid game. Might have even been worth getting these first, but didn't want to not get the orders. Pagodas normally get left in for the second go around. And then went for Zealotry, and do you know what? I don't think Zealotry was the play. I actually think that Syncretism would have been better. Syncretism is the one that gives 1 faith, science, and production for every 2 followers of other religions in owned cities, and there's something else. 1 faith in a city for over 15 science, or whatever. So the thing is, I actually ended up pretty much just buying land Skynects as my infantry, so I really didn't need Zealotry because I could easily get an army that way. Like, I thought I'd want to buy loads of longswordsmen, but the cover promotion compared to the can pillage without movement and the city plunder, and just the ease of being able to buy these guys for money because they're very, very cheap, meant I ended up going for way more of these. And I wish I hadn't even bothered building quite a few of the longswordsmen and just sold my iron and built more Landsknets, to be honest. Landsknets. So yeah, I really didn't need Zealotry because I just needed to build a couple of siege weapons, and I easily had enough production to do that anyway. But what I could have done, and I did have a lot of my cities were being converted to other religions, so I actually would have had pretty good science from the Syncretism, and we really needed it because if we were going to lose this game, it was if we didn't get to gunpowder at a decent enough time to have a good time with the impies. So a bit of extra science earlier on would have made more of a difference than being able to buy the units, I think. Though I would have had an insane amount of faith left at the end of the game if I didn't have Zealotry. But yeah, we would have had more production as well in the capital to help build more stuff. So I feel like that would have been better. Reformation belief. Obviously I was thinking of Crusader Spirit, but somebody actually stole it. And this, I believe, was the Mayans. So I went for Glory of God instead, and I basically just converted all my cities over just before Industrial Era, when we could start buying the Great People, or around Industrial Era, because I wouldn't have even been able to get the Reformation belief earlier than that. Like, it was really difficult actually spreading my religion until I started conquering and had loads of faith and loads of cities that I could convert with Inquisitors. I did also convert my cities back to Catholic because it was quite nice. It had the culture Reformation belief, and also had the Stars and Sky Tundra belief, which was affecting quite a few of our cities up here, and Veneration as well, which is decent. So yeah, point is, we could have had a really good, like, this Pantheon as well is one of the Pantheons where you just need it to be your religion's Pantheon, I think. So to get the +10 healing, we didn't need to have Zoroastrian in the other cities. So it was okay to go Syncretism and have all of our cities another religion, still get the +10 healed. Like, yeah, it kind of works with Syncretism. I've definitely thought about doing it in other authority strategies where you can have loads of population. But normally you can conquer a city with Syncretism and get it that way, because it's an enhancer belief. So if you conquer somebody else's holy city with Syncretism, you still get the bonus in that city. But it would have been nice to have it earlier. Yeah, so this war with Germany went on for a while, and I had this great general up here, but it didn't really help until we got to gunpowder, at which point, so I'm pretty sure I had done no damage to them whatsoever, and then we took Berlin within 3 turns. and that was with them producing defense as well. So the impies were absolutely insane, and obviously cannons are good, as I always say, but these guys were really ridiculous. They have 3 more combat strength than tercios, and the spear throw, which means they do an extra attack first. And because of all the buffalo promotions, they had an extra movement, a lot more combat strength, and you basically then get to choose whatever promotion you want after you get the 3rd buffalo promotion. Like, it's as if you'd finished off drill or shock. You get choice of all of these. I ended up going for blitz so that I could do double attacks and move in and out. And I then went mobility, I think on pretty much all of them. Then on the upgraded landsknechts, I went for city, assault and drill. And on the upgraded longswordsman, I would go for like march and stalwart, so that they could do the unit killing, and the upgraded landsknechts could attack the city, since we get money back for doing that to create more landsknechts. So that was kind of my strategy. I feel like that was pretty correct. Yeah, and just went for siege on all of the siege weapons instead of field. I don't think we got any of them up to having range and logistics, but I think we were actually close on some of them. Like this guy. I should have probably been more on it about using my great generals on top of a siege weapon to get the bonus 30 experience onto the siege weapon, since getting to range is a pretty big deal. Like, each of the infantry promotions is decent, but it's not as big a deal as getting range on the siege weapons. But yeah, we took Berlin in like 3 turns, smashed Germany really quickly, and then we had a couple of options around us who were still not at rifling. First was Austria, and we were right here, so I just went in on them as quick as I could before they could get to arsenals and stuff. Then the Mayans, and then Assyria was just going into industrial, so I quickly went in and killed him, I think before he got arsenals as well. So we got rid of like 4 civilizations just during the, like, from this period to this period. And bear in mind, we were a lot later than everyone else to get gunpowder. Spies were turned off this game, which made quite a big difference there. I feel like if spies were on, we probably would have been able to steal gunpowder. Or with the old system, there's new spies now, so no tech stealing, which I'm a fan of, because it definitely made this game more interesting. Normally I would have been able to steal gunpowder, probably, or some other Renaissance era tech, if I'd, timed it all correctly, and then if we'd had gunpowder like 10 turns earlier, I would have been a lot less worried about winning this game. Yeah, I think I went into Netherlands and Ottomans with Fusiliers and field guns, and they did have other arsenals, but we obviously just had way more troops. And then we made a big play on Russia at the end that you saw. I was just kind of finishing people off, like killing some city-states and stuff in between to keep the yields coming, and because I wanted to own the whole continent. We did use the World's Fair at a certain point, and with the glory of God we could buy great writers, so we got loads of policies. Enabled us to get, elite forces, Lebensraum and military industrial complex. Helped us out quite a bit, and lightning warfare was a big one as well. Kind of annoying that even with the infantry so well upgraded, land ships were still they were still better than riflemen and foreign legions, and tanks are way better than infantry. I mean, tanks just beat everything. I feel like tanks are just way too good. I know they cost oil, but there's normally quite a bit of oil. Like, I feel like my map actually has less oil than most maps, and it still has quite a bit. And the thing is, you don't need oil for anything else, so it's not like coal or something where you need it for factories. I feel like maybe that should be the thing for oil, where like it should be used in some building, because obviously every city uses oil in real life, pretty much, and definitely has done for the last like 50 years. So it's pretty weird that you don't need any oil for like economic stuff, so you can just put it all into tanks, and the only other thing you would build with them is planes. And I think tanks are quite a bit better than planes, if I'm honest, and available earlier as well. So yeah, that's my thoughts there. But infantry is really great, like up until, I guess, replaceable with parts it's still okay, but like in this area is where infantry is amazing. And this is generally where a lot of conquering happens, with your cannons and tercios or whatever it may be. But yeah, fun game. I didn't really mention the diplomatic stuff, actually. We did a pretty good job of getting Assyria on our side. That was something I was thinking about before I started this game, that I needed to be more aware of like diplomatic situations and how I could use them. And we had Assyria who actually helped us a lot with Germany. Like, he attacked them, which potentially stopped them from being able to attack us at a certain point. And not having Assyria attack us was a big deal, because they would have probably been able to take this city and then been really close to our capital. Would have made the game a lot more difficult. So I did that by, I think I denounced Germany because Assyria didn't like them, and I maybe denounced somebody else that Assyria didn't like, and I jumped into some co-op wars with Assyria as well, even ones that I wasn't interested in. I think I did one on Russia earlier on. So I feel like did a good job there, to be honest, and I'm glad that my thoughts paid off, because like I said, I was thinking that I needed to try some of these tactics, because I always felt like I was never really getting like well treated by the AIs, but I tried to be a bit more like them and be a bit more active with getting allies, rather than just expecting people to not hate me if I didn't do anything to them. I feel like you have to actively try to make them actually like you. And that worked pretty well. So yeah, main learning from this game really was the power of the landsknechts, especially if you have a unique tercio. And the fact that they may well generally just be better than longswordsmen, because you can sell your iron. And then obviously the ridiculousness of tanks and Lebensraum. Although I kind of already knew that. And then just be a bit more focused on the early game. I think I hadn't done as much practice as I normally would for a series. Normally I play a couple of games just to try and be sharp, because you don't want to mess the early game up. It makes the rest of the game a lot more difficult. Alright though, very fun game. One of the harder ones that ended up being kind of one of the easier ones, in a way. It was hard for a while. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I want to play for the next series. I'm kind of thinking some sort of more economic-y civ, some maybe more progress kind of civ. I'm thinking Polynesia. Polynesia, civ like that. But feel free to send suggestions. Probably I've played about half the civs right now. Or maybe America, actually. Although they're kind of being changed, perhaps, so I wouldn't want to play them. I used to play France at some point as well. Since I kind of shout on them in the tier list. I think people weren't very happy about that. Alright, yeah, there's been new patches as well though, so definitely want to try them out. It seems like happiness has been drastically changed from what I read. I haven't actually tried it, but spies have been drastically changed. I'm excited to try that out. And the happiness change, from what I saw, seems like happiness will be very broken and very, very hard to manage when doing a world conquest. So that could actually make domination less appealing than it usually is. But we'll see. And then I think there's been a couple of other changes as well. But nothing major that I can remember. And I'll probably do a stream this weekend. Either Friday evening or Saturday during the day. I'll try and post... I'll try and schedule it so that it says when it's going to come. But yeah, subscribe if you enjoyed. Check out my other series and come to the live stream if you want to see that. Right, hope you enjoyed, guys. See you all soon.